Topping in Northwest news tonight, the state of Idaho could get a whole lot bigger, but it's a long road to make that a reality. An Oregon senator is pushing for what they are calling Greater Idaho.
It would change the borders of Oregon and Idaho, as you can see on that map there. The goal is to move the state lines and incorporate 15 counties, mainly in eastern Oregon, and bring them into Idaho.
11 of the 15 counties already voted to sign on and approve the measure so far. KREM 2's Janelle Finch joining us here in the studio tonight with the likelihood of moving state lines. Janelle?
Well, for hundreds of years, the inland Northwest has looked like this. But Greater Idaho, a grassroots movement to expand Idaho's state lines, wants the region to look like this. Come this May, Wallowa County will vote on whether or not to move this idea forward. Matt McCaw says Greater Idaho is a solution to the urban-rural divide in Oregon.
We can move the state line between Idaho and Oregon. We can move that state line westward to the Cascades and get government for Eastern Oregonians from Idaho, which they are much more similar to culturally, economically, politically than they are to Western Oregon.
McCaw says the movement aims to bring 15 Oregon counties into Idaho, including Wallowa County. According to the Wallowa County clerk, this has been a popular topic of conversation.
I have people calling and saying, hey, when are we going to be joining Idaho?
But she explains that the vote to join Idaho won't be on the ballot in May.
If you vote yes on this, this means that the commissioners will be discussing whether it's a good idea for us to look into joining Idaho, but it doesn't mean we're going to be joining Idaho.
An initiative Mark Stouffer plans to vote yes on.
Idaho is more of a rural economy. It's more of a rural area. Eastern Oregon has always kind of felt like we identify better with how their legislature handles things, how their agencies handle things. And it would just save a lot of heartache and a lot of frustration and on both sides, from the west side and the east side, if we were to be part of Idaho.
But the reality of this would take some time.
So two states come together and the two legislatures say, where our border is doesn't make any sense. It would make more sense here. And as long as those two states agree on where to put it, and they come up with an interstate compact says, we're going to move the border here to where we think it makes sense for both states, that would go back to the U.S. Congress. And if they signed off on it, the border would move just like that.
One Oregon senator has already presented a proposal on this idea to the Oregon Senate. According to McCaw, Idaho Representative Barbara Ehart will also be backing a bill to present to Idaho legislator. If a majority vote yes on the initiative in May, Wallowa County commissioners would meet to discuss relocation every August and February. The Wallowa County clerk says a similar initiative was voted on during the November 2020 general election. That initiative failed by a slim margin of just 46 votes. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.